Okay, think about this for a second. Have you ever wondered why a nail left out in the rain turns into this crumbly, rusty mess, but the spoon in your kitchen drawer can sit there for decades and stay perfectly shiny? I mean, they're both basically steel, right? So what gives? It's like one is totally vulnerable and the other has some kind of invisible shield.
And that's exactly what we see here. On the left, you've got regular old iron. You leave it to the elements and, well, rust is pretty much inevitable. But on the right, you've got stainless steel. Now here's the crazy part. It's also mostly iron. So, how in the world does it just defy the one rule we thought iron always followed? It just doesn't rust.
So what's the secret here? Is it some kind of fancy coating they put on top? Nope. The real answer is way, way cooler than that. It's a kind of invisible, self-healing shield that's literally built right into the metal itself. And to understand how it works, we've got to start with the enemy.
That's right. To really appreciate the hero, the stainless steel, we first need to understand the villain of this story, rust itself.
See, rust isn't just some gunk that sits on the metal. It's the metal itself fundamentally changing. It's all thanks to a chemical reaction called oxidation. You know, iron is just naturally a bit unstable, and when it gets exposed to oxygen and water, it just can't help itself. It reacts, creating a totally new substance, iron oxide. And that is what we call rust. But here's the really nasty part. The reason rust is so destructive. That reddish-brown layer it creates, it's weak, it's porous, and it's super crumbly. So it just flakes away, exposing a brand new layer of fresh iron underneath, which then also rusts and flakes away. It's this relentless, vicious cycle of decay that just keeps going and going.
And this quote just nails it. Once that rust starts, it just keeps consuming the fresh metal underneath it. It is literally a zombie apocalypse for iron.
So how do you stop a metal zombie apocalypse? Well, you introduce a hero, a secret ingredient that completely changes the rules of the game.
And that hero is chromium. When scientists figured out how to mix at least 10.5% chromium into molten steel, something absolutely extraordinary happened. And trust me, that percentage isn't random. It is the magic number that changes everything. Now here is the genius part. Chromium is actually more reactive with oxygen than iron is. So it basically jumps in front and oxidizes first. But, and this is the key, instead of forming that flaky rust, it creates something incredible, what we call the passive layer. It's this ultra-thin, totally invisible, but super dense shield of chromium oxide that seals the iron off from the world. I mean, just think about how wild this shield is. It's only a few atoms thick, you can't see it at all, but it is so tough and so dense that it forms this impenetrable barrier. Oxygen and water, the two things iron needs to rust, simply can't get through. It basically suffocates the rust reaction before it even gets a chance to start.
But as cool as that invisible shield is, we haven't even gotten to the real magic trick yet. This is where stainless steel goes from being just rust-resistant to being, for all intents and purposes, immortal.
Okay, so having a shield is great, but what happens if you scratch it? This, my friends, is the truly mind-blowing part. So, in its normal state, right, the passive layer is totally intact. It's doing its job, perfectly protecting the iron underneath. But then, a scratch happens. You know, a key brushes against your watch, or a knife scrapes a countertop. For a split second, that shield is broken, it's breached, and the vulnerable iron atoms underneath are exposed to the air. It's a moment of danger. But the instant that fresh chromium is exposed to oxygen, bam! It reacts and immediately reforms the passive layer right over the damaged spot. It literally heals itself. As long as there's a little bit of oxygen around, which there usually is, this microscopic force field can just regenerate over and over and over again. And this self-healing superpower? It's why stainless steel is absolutely everywhere. This isn't just about looking shiny. It's about hygiene in hospitals, where surgical tools cannot afford to degrade, not even a little bit. It's about safety in food processing, where contamination is a non-starter. This metal doesn't just resist damage, it actively defends itself. So, let's bring this all home. The next time you pick up a gleaming stainless steel fork, just remember, you're not just looking at a pretty, shiny surface.
Let's recap the secret. Iron is basically destined to rust, but by adding that magic amount of chromium, we give it a hero, this incredible invisible shield. And the most amazing part? If that shield ever breaks, it just instantly heals itself. It's just an unbelievably brilliant chemical trick.
A simple alloy with an invisible, self-healing shield that is perpetually winning its battle against the forces of nature. It is, truly, the metal that can't be defeated by rust. You know, the world is absolutely full of everyday materials with hidden superpowers just like this one. So my question for you is, what should we investigate next? What materials secrets do you want to uncover? Drop your best ideas in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.